we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. It's Lakerholics Spotlight. It's Lakers weekend. Truly appreciate you joining us for some good conversations with the Lakerholics. We're going to start off by saying you need to stop by Lakerholics.com for all your news, information, and, wait for it, opinions on the Los Angeles Lakers like nowhere else. All the infighting, all the great stuff that's out there, the great opinions, the trade requests, the trade proposals, all the great stuff that you see at Lakerholics.com. I'll put it to you this way, guys. Actually, you know what? I'm waiting for L. Rob to come in because I made a proposal and I put it together to radio stations around the West Coast, and I sent them out. And I had a little mini biography of each of us as far as what we do, whatnot. And I had a special section for our weekend show with the Lakerholics. I gave you guys a little bit of press. And I gave a little blurb about each and every one of you guys. So I want you guys to go ahead and critique it here later in the show when L. Rob comes on. But great to have you here. Don't forget, I do want to plug it as always, Lakerholics.com. You really need to go there and check out and be part of the community. They have a great community, really passionate about the Lakers. So please go ahead and be part of it today at Lakerholics.com. I do also want to mention my interview, again, is available with Yaron Weitzman. It's on A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. It came out this past week. It is selling very well, but if you want to know behind the scenes of El Segundo, what went on, all the stuff that actually the Lakers did not want you to read this book. So you do need to read this book right here. Yeah, they actually, in my conversation with Yaron, they said the Lakers were thinking about sending a cease and desist on this book. So a lot of good stuff in here. The only thing that wasn't in here was something with Damon Jones, which I guess you guys know about this week as well. So that's in there, but please go ahead and check out that out. And also my good friend Drip Show. That canvas art you see behind me, the Kobe pillow, is all because of him. So please help him out by buying a great gift today, coming up with a great idea, Laker related, Dodger related, fan related, what have you, pop culture related. If you got an idea, help him out at Drip Show Shop. Come up with it. He'll send it out to you. It'll be a great holiday gift for you indeed. So the Lakers themselves are 1-1 on the season after last night's convincing victory, pulling away from the Minnesota Timberwolves, 128-110. Just absolutely a great offensive performance. And here today to go ahead and discuss that are hopefully I have 3 of the 4 Lakerholics. Jamie is currently scaring kids right now at a school-related haunted house. I do want to go ahead and confirm the rumors. He is going as Rob Pelinka to scare all the kids. So yes, just want to mention that indeed. But first man here, it is, of course, the inimitable Laker Tom. And Laker Tom, great to have you here. Lakers, I have a sigh of relief because of what happened last night. I was worried that this season would not get off to the best of notes after what we saw on Tuesday. But the offense clicked, and I'll tell you what, our suspicions about how good Luka would be playing were met because we all thought that Luka would play at an MVP-like level, and so far he has yet to disappoint.
It was, I felt the same way as you did, a great deal of relief. Getting ready for the game, and it's so irritating that the game was on Prime because you couldn't have any fast forwards and you couldn't have any pauses. So, I had to take the dog out into the third quarter. That was thank God the dog was fast. But it was really difficult for the game because I'm used to watching the game a lot more leisurely in my age, I need a bathroom break here and a bathroom break there and a lunch break here and, dinner break and so forth. And the game was going so fast and it was so stressful during the first part of the game because they were shooting lights out and I couldn't believe we were keeping up with them. But man, that finish to the second quarter and the way we played in the third and fourth quarters, that you could see that we took that team totally out of what they were doing and they totally lost confidence by the end of the game. It was really a surprising turnaround from the first game. And I give JJ great credit because most coaches probably would have pulled Gabe Vincent out of the lineup right then and there at the start of this game. And he made a point of not wanting to do that. And I think he wanted to focus on the real reasons that the team lost. We had a winnable game against the Warriors. We were only lost by 10 points, and we missed 11 free throws. We turned the ball over 20 times. We blew the third quarter. There were a lot of reasons why if we just went out there. And the point that I think JJ was trying to make with the team was it wasn't who started that determined whether we won or lost that game. It was how we played, not who played. And basically, if we had played well and did the things right, we would have won that game, and we can win tonight with the same lineup. I thought that was a really important thing to do. Otherwise, you might have lost Gabe for the whole year. At least, I think that Marcus is going to be a better fit, or even Bando in the starting lineup would be a better fit than Gabe because of his size. And you can hide him if you put him on a second team with a couple of good defenders and so forth. But he can't be in a switch-all situation, and that's the tough part about it. And if you're not hitting your shots and not aggressively looking for his shots, and he wasn't, he has been very aggressive during preseason, but that aggression sort of stopped when the season started, and the pressure, is a lot more when it's a regular season game. But what a statement win for the Lakers. I was worried, just like Gerald was, that the season was going to start off really rough. And it could have gone the other way, but thankfully it was probably the most enjoyable Laker game that I think I've watched in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, there you go, indeed, guys. Just want to go ahead and say the game is 5-card stud. Just want to go ahead and pass around. Oh, is that bad to say right now? What's going on? Sorry. Little scandal going on in the NBA right now. Sorry.
You can invite me to any poker game that.
Okay. All right. Okay. The table that we're playing on is totally safe. It's not rigged at all. I just wanted to make sure on that.
There's no X-ray machines anywhere.
No. And my automatic shuffling machine is totally not rigged at all. But I'll leave that to you guys.
When you open the doors, to gambling, you open the doors to an awful lot of stuff, man. I hope this turns out
their
okay.
money. They like their money, Tom. They like their money.
I heard a proposal that I thought really made a lot of sense. Was that take out things like the minutes players playing and prop bets and stuff like this that make I have this argument with my son that I don't do this stuff, even though I'm an inveterate gambler. I don't gamble on games of my team, other than winning or losing, because it interferes with the game. It interferes with the game to be rooting for some guy to get a rebound over somebody else or this type of stuff. And watching games with my son and my grandson, they're both got 5 or 6 different other motives for watching the game than who's going to win. And it's crazy, it's the whole subject is ludicrous to me.
I will say this. I just want to say this real quick. Of all the presentations, because I know Amazon, NBC, Peacock, ESPN, and then also FanDuel, which bought out the Bally for the local. Of all of them, I'm sorry to tell you guys this. I like the displays that the FanDuel games have, because they do actually do that during the course of the game. They'll show you the front, like right on the side of the score. They'll show you like what all 5 players have at the current moment of points, or how long they've been on the court, and you can actually see as the count. They do some really innovative things, and I kind of like it. But I understand why it's there, because it's for betting purposes. I understand that because it's FanDuel running it, but it's just very informative indeed. But also here today, good man indeed. I didn't mean to interrupt. My apologies. It is our inimitable as well, the inimitable show that we have, Mr. Michael Heinrich. Aloha, my friend. Great to have you back. Your floor is now yours, my friend. What's going on?
Oh, I didn't hear the last part of your sentence.
Oh, no, the floor is all yours, my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, that first game of the year, the Lakers looked like a team that had no reps together. I mean, we played it safe during the summer. We didn't want injuries. That's fine. But they looked so disjointed that first game. It was just like it was just awful, and to only lose by 10 was a miracle. I mean, we looked so bad, but I didn't get too shook because of that, because I figured that these guys needed time. So this next game, even though, the T-Wolves got off to such a hot start, 40 points, but they were making everything. I mean, they were making contested threes, guys with their hands in their face. No matter what the defense tried, they were scoring. But what was the big thing to me was that we could keep pace with them.
Yeah.
And I think we can keep pace with any team in the league on the offensive side. So that was really good news. And, Luka is just phenomenal. If we manage a top 4 finish in the West this year, he'll be MVP for sure. If he keeps this kind of thing up. I mean, when LeBron comes back, of course, the scoring's going to go down some, but man, he's been amazing. Austin looked like Austin again last night. The first game he scored 25, but he looked terrible doing it. At this game he looked and Rui should play the T-Wolves every game. There's something about the T-Wolves. I mean, he scorched them last year in the playoffs, and he just loves that matchup. I guess some guys just match up really good against certain teams. And for Rui, that's one of his good matchups. But the thing that I really enjoyed watching a lot with Jackson out was when they went small and they had Vando and Rui doing their thing defensively. And I thought they both held up really well. It was nice seeing Ayton in there. Gobert having a big like Ayton. I mean, he didn't have the greatest game, but he had a solid one. And like night and day. I mean, Gobert just never got going. He just never got going. And but yeah, Marcus Smart. It's kind of funny. Marcus Smart and Vando combined for 5 points offensively, but they were one of the main reasons we won that game. Just their defensive tenacity was just. I mean, Vando had. In 20 minutes, he had 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and and Marcus Smart, got skin knees today after that, always diving for everything on the floor. I think their energy really was what fueled a lot of our game last night. So I think we can survive the missing LeBron for his he's going to miss probably 8 to 10 more games, more than likely. I think we can survive that. Okay. I think we're going to be okay. So that was my take from the game last night.
There you go. Indeed. Great perspective right there from Michael Heinrich. And also here today, good man. Indeed. It is a returning L-Rob. Great to have you here, my friend. It's the reason why you're here, because you found out Jamie is not here. I just want to clarify that. Is that a possibility, Rob?
Yes, that's the exact reason. Boy.
Sweet. All right. There you go.
No, I always love being on with Jamie. So I hope he's enjoying his. What did he say he was doing?
It's a haunted house. He's going as Rob Pelinka.
Haunting little kids.
Yes. So your thoughts so far on the first couple games for the Lakers? Obviously, Luka is playing at an elite level right now. It has the fans in Dallas after Dallas's second straight home loss.
They must be dying in Dallas right now.
They are.
Love it.
They are chanting "Fire Nico, fire Nico, fire."
Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Nico.
Yes. So with that, my friend, your thoughts on the Lakers so far? Again, offensively, especially with the starting lineup, it has clicked, especially last night. Defensively, there are obviously some concerns. The bench production is obviously also a little bit of a concern as well. But I know that you always seem to find a good pathway on what the Lakers can do moving forward.
So, yeah, it's easy to overreact after one game or two games. So I always try to remind myself of that. It's easier said than done, though. Yeah, first game was a disaster. And I mean, it shows when you're playing a team like Golden State that's been playing together for a while and have the same system and everybody's more connected. That's, it's tough. And you got the Lakers team that's pretty much strangers, except for a couple of guys. So, I mean, I guess in hindsight, we can kind of expect that type of game. But the defensive effort just wasn't there. And last night it started the same way, but they definitely tightened it up and looked very, very good. So I mean, Luka is amazing. So I hope we're not looking at a repeat of watching Kobe in 2006 and 2007, where the joy in the game is just seeing what phenomenal game Kobe's going to have and what kind of heights he can reach and be thrilled by that, which, I mean, it was amazing. So if that's what this season brings us, I'm okay with that because that was some amazing times. But I do hope that the team is a little more competitive. So I was impressed with the defensive effort that Luka showed. I mean, of course, the offensive numbers are amazing, but you can see that he's putting more effort into it and he's making a concerted effort, and that's good leadership. So yeah, it was good. It was good to see JJ get riled up and engaged and seem to ignite his team. So he knew what buttons to push. And Minnesota spanked us pretty good. So it's good to come back and punch them and see them whining and crying. So it was a good night.
Absolutely. It was a good night indeed. Once again, this is Lakers Weekend, Lakerholics Spotlight. Go ahead and make sure you're a part of what the guys are doing each and every day at Lakerholics.com. Laker Tom, I've got a message for you from Kurt Affair. He says that he feels bad for you that you had to shut down your poker games. So I want to make sure that you knew that and convey my sadness to that. But that aside, he also said that they have to find offense in other parts of this team, because that Luka scoring 40 plus points, and I agree with him. Luka is not going to average 43 to 45 points every single game. That's unsustainable over the course of an 82 game season. 35 is not without realm of the possibility because that's actually been done within recent years. I highly think that 35 is very attainable. But even if that's the case, you have to find offense in other areas outside of Luka. And right now, it seems like the offense is going 3.5 ways. With if you count Ayton in there, how do they find consistent offense from some of these other guys?
Well, I actually wonder about whether or not one of the themes that everybody looks at is, do we need another superstar? We've got LeBron James right now. Oh wait, no, we don't. And yet last night, the team without LeBron James dominated the team that beat the Lakers with LeBron James last year. And I think there's something to be said about that difference in how the game ended versus how the series ended last year for the Lakers, because it says a lot about the future of the team, because LeBron James is not on that team. There's another scenario that could happen, which is that the Lakers really, during this period when LeBron is out, this next 8 to 10 games, what if the Lakers run through these next 8 to 10 games and really look sharp? My only concern would be that Rob Pelinka would naturally be less reluctant or less willing to make trades, thinking LeBron's going to come back and we're going to be champions. And that's, the team has some deficiencies and definitely needs to have more defense in the starting lineup, needs to have better depth for the critical players. You're relying upon too many guys that are big question marks that may or may not come through at the end. So In many ways, I hope this doesn't delay Pelinka making decisions as to what to do to help this team, because they need more help in the front court. They need a backup center. They need better forwards. They need better defense in the forwards. You cannot go into every game. They're going to go into the next 8 to 10 games, and to be able to win with basically your starting forwards being a combination of Luka and Austin and Rui, that's not a good defensive forward situation. And wings are basically dominating the league. Our power forward is not really a power forward. He basically he's really an oversized small forward, basically. We need somebody who basically can go out there, and when we play these teams that have double bigs, it's going to be a real challenge. So there's work to be done on improving the team. And I hope that, I think the Lakers are going to perform very well without LeBron. And that obviously is good news in the long run, because it shows that a single superstar lineup like OKC did with SGA is a formula that can win the championship. You don't need a second superstar, but you do need to have a deep, roster that's got some great defense in it. Now, we have seen some good signs of that with Smart and Vando in the last game, but we still need a defensive center who can protect the rim. We don't have that. We don't have a center who can stretch the floor. So when we're going to be up against it when we play the bigs, and while I love small ball, I think the league is going in the other direction, where basically it's going to be impossible for guards like Gabe Vincent to survive in the near future of the NBA. They just don't have the size and physicality to be able to defend that position anymore the way it's going. So the Lakers aren't out of the woods for sure, but man, Luka Doncic is basically on an MVP tear, and I agree with Michael that if he's in the top 4, if we finish in the top 4, I think that was you that said that, Michael, that he would win the MVP. I agree with that.
So let me go ahead and start off with something that my audience after the post game on the post game show we're talking about, and that is Gabe Vincent, Michael. When Gabe Vincent brought out, when JJ Redick brought out that starting lineup, kind of threw everyone for a loop, because we had been speculating, should you put Marcus Smart in there? Should you put Vando in there? Your thoughts on this, the Gabe Vincent experiment, because he was so hot in the preseason? I had said leading up to the season, guys, he's a very streaky player. And quite often we see players in the preseason hit every shot they make. And as soon as that light turns on for the regular season, there's just a disconnect for whatever reason. And that disconnect has started for Gabe Vincent. He's been given tough defensive assignments and not really done the best of jobs. I'll just say that. I mean, Anthony Edwards is just too tall for him. Just right, get down to it. It just wasn't pretty last night in that first quarter. But your thoughts on keeping Gabe Vincent there, and do you have an alternative, or do you keep the status quo because the Lakers are 1-1 right now?
Well, personally, I think that if you're going to have the switch everything defense we're playing, it's going to be really hard to hide Gabe. Because we're switching everything. I mean, it's just the scheme they have right now, and he's getting, they're hunting him. So in those switches. So yeah, I think twofold. I think number 2 on that would be that we could use Gabe's shooting ability with the second unit. I mean, of the other guys that we have available, he's probably the best. Well, he is the best shooter of the bench group. So, and you've got 4 scorers on the starting unit. So I would want to slip a Marcus Smart or a Vando into the starting unit to give us a little bit more defense, and put Gabe with the second unit to give us a little bit more offense. So that's the way he's getting abused because of because we're switching everything. And it's like, give we can, not every single starter has to be a good offense. When you got 4 guys that can score, you don't need a 5th, as much. So let's put a defender in there. I think either Vando or Mark. I like Vando from the standpoint that he's also a quality rebounder, and but then I like Marcus Smart's toughness. So either one of those guys, I'd be fine with, but I don't think I would continue with Gabe as a starter.
There's another aspect about it that I hadn't thought of, because I basically agree almost with everything that Michael said. But the counter to that I found was fascinating is having the reserves be the switch everything lineup, because that's what was basically happening when you have Vando and Vando and Smart in the lineup there. They're basically that's a lineup that basically was switching everything and was very successful at doing it. And there's no doubt that when the 2 of them came in together to the game, they changed the game, man. That changed the game right at that point. Then Smart going to the floor twice, and then that sequence of the things. But that was at the end of the second quarter was really what clamped down and changed that whole game. Up until then, we were basically playing catch-up ball, 4 to 6 points behind all the time. They a 3-pointer behind until we finally catch up, and then they stretch out to 6 points away. So I myself, I would probably put Smart in there, even though he's only an inch taller. He's like 6 or 7 inches longer, and I would probably do that. But I do love the idea of putting the clamps on when you bring Vando and Smart into the game at the same time. Man, that's gives you a whole total difference.
Well, through rotations, they do that.
They could do that to a certain extent. It's a little bit of a compromise. It's sort of like playing Reeves and Luka together.
Yeah, well, one of the things that
works, they did a great job of staggering them. And I do think one of the things that I like is when Luka's on the bench and Reeves is in the game. I love the idea of having Smart and Vando on the floor with him.
Well, what worked for both of those guys there and the switch everything, they still had 3 scorers on the floor,
right?
And so that was important. But now the other thing is the Timberwolves tried every coverage there is in the NBA universe to stop Luka, and they couldn't do it. They blitzed him, they doubled him. Every conceivable way that you defend, they tried, and he defeated.
And that's why Ayton got all those points in the second half, man.
Yeah, he defeated everything they tried to do. Yeah. So when you got somebody that's on that kind of roll, it just we can go with two defenders, and not worry about the offense that much,
Man, imagine if we could just make a trade and get a third real big, like 6'8", 3-and-D guy that was really good. So we could have 3 guys like Vando and Smart.
Yeah, but we don't have 5 draft picks first round picks to get somebody.
We could get it several different ways, but we aren't doing it. We're going to sit here and wait 20 games.
It's a new NBA world where draft capital counts more than anything else now in trades.
Once again, it is Lakers weekend. It's the Lakerholics Spotlight. So, Rob, let me get you back into this. Again, the Lakers are heading on Sunday to Sacramento, their first road game of the year. Please go ahead and join us on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and of course the post game afterwards. So with that, what are you looking for moving forward? You still won't have LeBron for speculation now is hopefully you'll get him back in mid-November. I'm not as confident on that because this is LeBron, and anything with LeBron is you're just like, okay, you're on a need-to-know basis if that's the case. With that, though, what are you looking for the Lakers to do and work on? Do you think it is time already to make a change or a tweak in the starting lineup or the rotation as a whole? What are you looking for as far as from JJ to make as far as tweaks after the first 2 games of the season?
Yeah, I don't know if it's time to make any changes just yet. You may want to Marcus Smart get more minutes. I mean, it doesn't matter if he starts or comes off the bench. I think he needs to get up in the 28-ish minutes area. And, Gabe minutes needs to come down a little bit. So that's probably the biggest thing that I would look for. But I'm like Tom mentioned, I kind of like the pairing of Smart with Vando together. I just like that their defensive energy, being able to turn it up a little bit.
It protects Reeves because
and then Reeves is given more.
He's the third worst defender of the two guards and the small forward.
Yeah, he's given more free reign with that lineup, and then hopefully, Jake gets a little more comfortable and start taking some of the shots he has. But I think it's too early to really make any real changes just yet. You just keep working on it, making sure you keep Rui involved, figure out how to get Aiden more involved.
It gave a couple of open shots, man. That would definitely.
Yeah, I know Luka's mentality has come out, set the tone, and get things rolling. And hey, I mean, you can't argue with the results. I mean, it's been amazing in the first quarters. But just bring Aiden along a little bit earlier in the game, I think would be helpful. Other than that, you just got to see what you got. You don't know what you got yet. So I wouldn't make many changes just yet.
Especially not after a statement win.
Yeah. Let's roll the dice. Let's see how we keep
make a change.
Unfortunately for Gabe, he's going to be the guy out there getting punished because he's guarding the best offensive player, or if not the best, the mismatches he's had with Jimmy was kind of brutal, and then Ant-Man, that was brutal. But somebody's got to take the punishment. We don't have. I like keeping Marcus where he's at right now. Now, maybe 8 to 10 games in, that might change. But right now, let's let it play out a little bit.
One thing I might add too is that JJ's probably monitoring minutes for both Smart and Vando because of their injuries. That they've been both susceptible to injuries the last 2 years, both of them. So he might be,
I'd manage both of those guys, to be honest.
Yeah, he's probably easing them in.
You have to,
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. That's a good point.
He might be easing them in.
But you also need to go ahead and understand that when Vando's out there, guys, Vando is a nothing offensively. And that's I don't want to be mean, but I'm going to have to be mean because that guy offensively, he's regressed to the point where we're still waiting. Does Amen Thompson hit a 3 first for Houston, or does actually Vando hit a shot? Period, from anywhere. We're still having this little contest to see which
he has improved his drives because he added a Euro step in there.
Still zero, Tom. Zero.
I'm not disagreeing.
That's okay. It's some guys it's going to be zeros offensively. That's part and parcel of the game. So,
but as you know, there are, when you have deficiencies of that order, though, L-Rob, you get phased out, you get coached out, you get matched up and schemed out.
More in the playoffs, though, Gerald.
More in the playoffs.
Season,
true.
In the regular season, you're flying in, you're playing somebody. They're not going to scheme you and play you off the court. So,
and plus another thing to keep in mind is we've got in Luka and Austin as well, two very, very creative offensive players, and so you can kind of swallow a guy that's not much on offense when you got two guys that can create the way. And then when LeBron comes back, now you got 3 guys that can create offense. So it's still hard for a team to, they may leave him alone, but with the creativity of the guys that we have, it's awfully hard for the defense still, So I'm not as concerned with that. With Vando scoring, because of that, we've got guys that, you just watched, Austin relentlessly attacking the paint. and he's got like 48 different spin moves in the paint to get a bucket. When you guys and both of those guys are great one-on-one guys, so you can kind of I can deal with a guy like Vando there.
But it's also
let's not forget Marcus only made one basket. It wasn't like he was really killing us.
But he's 6'10" and he's going to be guarding a guard, and so you got to flip back on that side that he's a guy that basically can play in the dunker spot for Luka, on offense because
he can play the dunker spot.
You got to cover him because he can easily dunk the ball.
Yeah, he's not a guy to park in the corner often, that's for sure.
No, that's for sure. Here's I'm fascinated by this topic, which is, could the Lakers actually be better without LeBron this year?
No.
No.
Not if we're going to challenge. No.
That's 22 at this age. Let's say that's 22, 6 and 6 you don't have in the lineup. I understand defensively it takes lots of plays off and things of that nature, but right now that's a lot of burden that could be taken off of Luka's, of Rui's, and
you want to take things off of Luka's plate.
Well, then that's why it's better to have LeBron there. That's
but you got Austin. I mean, all of a sudden the conversation has shifted because of LeBron's injury. It used to be that Austin as the number 3 option is the guy who's redundant. Maybe it's flipped around now because
Austin, he's had one bad game and one good game. Let's see how it shakes out, Tom. He hasn't. I don't know if you can totally trust Austin as that guy right now. I mean, he was great yesterday. Game one,
we're going to play him that way because that's our future. Our future is those two guys rotated.
Let's
stagger the two of them. Have one of them on the floor all the time.
Let me bring in this. Let me bring in this, guys, because again, we all know that 8 of the Lakers players are financially motivated to do very well this season because they don't have a definitive future going forward. And Austin Reeves is at the head of that list. So let me bring it to you then, Laker Tom. We have been on the show, and the audience has been all over the place on what you would actually value Austin Reeves as, because you talk about him going forward as being a vital piece of the future. Yet we don't even know if he is going to be definitively a part of that future because of the fact that he can opt out and become a free agent next summer.
I've always listen. I love Austin Reeves. I mean, he's exactly the type of he's every guy out there who played point guard who's watches this undrafted white guy come in here and almost become the guy. So there's not a player on the team that I love more than Austin Reeves. Yet up till last night's game, my position has always been that I think that what we can get from Reeves, because he's worth 2 or 3 draft picks, what we can get from Reeves is probably more important for us at this point in time than what he can give us, because he is, when LeBron was around and healthy, he was the 3rd option and it was a little bit redundant. Now, all of a sudden, it's flipped around because I've watched this last game, I thought that JJ did a great job of staggering and playing those two guys together, because we were in charge on the court all the time. There was not a moment when there was a lack because Luka was off the court. He did a great job of making that second unit hold their own. I mean, I haven't looked at the net. I know the numbers. We were number 4 offensively, number 27 defensively, and number 10 for net rating after the second game. So that's not a bad position considering we lost that first game, but it was only by 10 points. So we're still the top 10 net rating team. But this team is different. I think there's a big parallel between the Thunder and what the Lakers could be, because we have a point guard in Luka that can do what SGA did. SGA doesn't need a second superstar to win the championship. And I think Luka's in that same ball. I don't think we need a second superstar. I'd rather we spent $60 million on two $30 million guys or three $20 million guys or four $15 million guys who all could play defense and all were 3-and-D players. And if it takes us 3 or 4 years to build that kind of team, then we build that kind of team because it'll win 6 or 7 championships out of 10 years. Luka's that good. He's,
but Tom, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. OKC has a lot of guys who are very good defenders. They got 2 very capable big guys.
They're going to get rid of guys that
they got a Robin and Jay Will who's very versatile. I mean, we just don't have that. But like you say, it's a slow build, and once LeBron is gone next season,
we're not that far away. We're a couple of players. We get 2 good players. If we got 2 excellent players, we could compete with them, I think.
Well, I agree. If you get 2 excellent players, yeah, no doubt. But I'm agreeing. You don't need a second superstar, but you better have some very, very good guys like Jay Will and other guys that are very good role players who we don't.
We do have good options, and I may not always agree with what Pelinka's done, but there's a couple of very positives. For example, we have an opportunity because they've made a decision not to bring LeBron back. We're going to have cap space next year. We're going to have cap space so we could sign free agents, and we could sign a guy like Geese, and we could give him an offer that the Rockets couldn't match. So there's several players out there that we have a route to from free agency, and if we hold on, we'll have 3 picks next summer to trade. Our 31 and 33 pick, as well as the 26 pick. And we have right now in 4 swaps that we can do. And we have Austin Reeves.
33, man.
I know. But we have Austin Reeves, so we can make moves right now, but there's still a tendency of this team to want to hold on. So the other thing is that
our team's actually going to be clamoring. Yes, sign me up for that pick 6 years from now in 31 and 8 years from now in 33.
Well, they're first-round picks, and they're going to have to make them unprotected to get anything. But there are teams that even the swaps are valuable for. For example, let's take a team like the Thunder. The Thunder have so many picks that they can't even use them. They're going to have so many good picks that they aren't signing guys that any other team would have signed already to long-term contracts because they know they're going to get better picks and better players to fill those slots. So there's a whole new, just like the buyout market, there's a whole new bunch of players that are going to come on the market, which are going to be guys that OKC drafted, but they've got so many picks that these guys are now expendable. So the Lakers have moves to make and they have options to do it. They just, Sam, there was an article by Sam Quinn, or a post in X about Sam Quinn, and he said the problem with the Lakers is that they do a great job landing a superstar because they understand that this is a superstar league, but they just do a horrible job of finding players to fill in and fill the niches to make a championship team around a superstar. And they did that in the championship we won with LeBron and AD, but they still don't. Every other team finds a guy and says, "This is our guy. This is the guy. We go after this guy," and they go after that guy, and they'll overpay if they have to. We're always like, "What's the best deal we can get?" It's totally opposite of what a championship team could be. And at the end of this month, the word is that the sale could finally go through and be approved by the league so that Mark Walter is the new owner. It'll be interesting to see if there are any changes that happen when that happens, because I think that the Lakers are wasting good chances of Luka's opportunities to win championships this year by not going all in and making a trade.
Nobody's making trades right now. That's the biggest thing. Nobody's making trades, and who can we get for what we have?
Nothing happens really until
if you were trade Reeves, you can get a lot. You get an awful lot if you trade Reeves. You can.
Well, but they're not going to. They're not going to ever trade him. So that's off the table.
That I think is a totally unsettled situation.
He's got $14 million salary. You're not going to get fair value.
I'll just say this.
Oh, yes, they will.
Well,
They
because
could.
December and January, more players come onto the board and are eligible to trade on those dates. I think it's December 15th and January 15th.
Right.
As it gets closer to the trading deadline, guys, in due respect to both you guys, there are teams that will decide, or because the course of their season will decide, maybe they want to make changes with their salary cap going forward. They'll have some contracts that they'll maybe want to let go that maybe the Lakers are interested in. The Lakers have a lot of expiring contracts that maybe teams might be interested in more so closer to the trade deadline. So those are things that can be evaluated. And again, if you know you're going to have to pay a lot for Austin Reeves, who again, it's how you perceive him in the playoffs. He's great in the regular season, absolutely fantastic in regular season. He's shown to be that type of player. In the playoffs, it's been kind of a mixed bag on how you see him. Some, people swear that he plays great defense. Some others say he doesn't play great defense in the playoffs. It's a matter of perspective. And then offensively, he has not been able to match up the same in the playoffs as he has during the regular season. So again, it's how you perceive it. But I agree with you, Michael. It's only $14 million, but bundled with Ruiz or bundled with Gabe's, bundled with Max, whatever you're looking for, you can build it up to where you can get a 30, possibly $40 million value player if that becomes available later this season.
And that's the biggest if. That's the biggest if. Those guys aren't getting traded. And that's the other thing about free agency. Everybody is locking up their really good players.
And again, with all due respect, I didn't think Luka was getting traded either. So
well, but that we
sometimes you make
a lot of these other GMs actually know what they're doing. Obviously, he knows. The Dallas guy, he knows sneakers. Coming from Nike, he knows sneakers. He doesn't know a damn thing about basketball. Nobody. I don't think who else would have made that trade. What other GM would have made that trade?
I think other people. People forget the logic that is behind that and the size of the team that he was building. Now we've got a situation because we've got so many injured players who are point guards on teams that are championship contending teams that are going to find out before the trade deadline whether or not their proposed solution for their missing injured superstar point guard is going to work or not. And those teams are going to be interested in somebody like Austin Reeves, who not only
trade him,
help him in the short term, but in the long term. And also too, the issue with it's not, it's not you act as if it's a disrespect of Reeves to consider trading him. The disrespect is, I don't know if he's worth $45 million or $40 million a year, and you might end up.
Because that's what he's asking. If I'm his rep and he continues to play like this, guys, that's what I'm asking for. I don't know if I could get it, but that's what I'm asking for him. If I'm his rep,
too much for a one-way player.
Oh, I think it's too much too. But I'm just saying that's what if I'm repping him,
I think the Lakers
I'm asking for that.
The Lakers in their heart. Now, Mark Walter may be different because Mark Walter has never been cheap, but he also has a salary cap in this league that he doesn't have in baseball. But you still have to. That's one area it doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or not. You got to somehow stay within those rules, and there is a scenario where the Lakers don't want to take that risk, don't want to tie that much money up into that player.
See Matt Ishbia for how you do not run a salary cap on that in the Phoenix Suns. But
I think Austin will be a much more valuable trade chip after he gets his new contract.
Well, maybe
he is right now.
That's what it is. I listen, Michael. I watched the game last night, and I started thinking again. When LeBron's gone, it's a total different view of Reeves, because all of a sudden Reeves is the guy who can make sure the Luka minutes aren't a loss. So I'm not disrespecting Austin when I propose trades, but I know the guy is worth draft picks.
$40-some million, you should know what you're going to get. I think you should know what you get. You should be pretty dependable. I can put this guy out there and he's going to give me X, Y, and Z. With Austin, it still fluctuates too much. I mean, it's great for this value he's at now, but when you start talking about that next level, this guy with that payment comes certain expectations, and I think it's kind of unfair to us to think that to hold him to those standards. I hope he get paid, go out and get that bag, but
he did 25 and 6 last year as a third option.
Third option. That's a lot. That's amazing.
As the third option, not the second option. As the third option, 20 a game.
And you don't think that the Rockets would think about a replacement, or the Mavericks, who lost the point guard, or the Pacers, who lost the star point guard, couldn't see? Here's a guy that could replace their point guard.
Those numbers are good, Michael, but in the playoffs, you and I know. And you look at the first game. How many points did he have? What was his numbers in the first game?
25.
23.
Okay, but he was a negative. He was one of the worst players on the court.
Well, he had 5 turnovers. He had 5 turnovers.
For most of the game, he was one of the worst players on the court. But if you look at the box score, he was serviceable. But in the playoffs, his games are like that. It's like, okay, it looked good, but was it really good? Or yeah, he was really good this game, but the next game, it's just too unpredictable.
He's not a sure. He's not a sure thing as an all-star.
Yeah, but you know, this year he's going to get a chance to play it out. He's going to get a big payment.
Something different.
But I think at this point, with 5 years, what year is it? Year 5 for Austin?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. I mean, I think at this point, we kind of know what he is, and he's a really good player, but not you're gonna pay him like your second best player. I think at that point, and I don't know if he's the second best player.
He could be. I think he could be the second best player on the Luka Doncic team.
Well, you need a second scorer.
I don't know on a championship team, Tom.
You need a second. You need a second scorer regardless.
You got to make the other 3 guys have to be elite defenders.
And who are you going to get that's going to give you 25 a game as a second scorer? You know, free agent. The salary cap has changed everything when it comes to free agency. You know, it really, really, really has. And that's a brave new world. The rules are different now. So I'm not counting on being able to land anybody, even if LeBron doesn't come back. And you look at next year, you look at next year's free agent market, and it's dwindling fast. Guys are getting extended all over the place.
That's true. But there are some guys out there. You know, if you could get a guard like Keon Ellis from the Kings, if you could get Tari Eason from...
He can't start on the Kings even yet. He's not even getting the starter minutes.
Well, he should get starter minutes in the Kings because he deserves the starting minutes on the Kings. That's because the Kings are a screwed up organization. And if they're only going to give him 15 minutes a game like they did the other day, the Lakers should make a trade for him right away. But those are the kind of young players that are two-way players. And you have a very good chance of succeeding with them, Same thing, the Lakers, if you can get guys, if you can surround, there is a scenario where Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic can be a championship backcourt. But that means that the other 3 starters and the other guys coming off of the bench to fill in on that rotation are real two-way players. They're not one-way players that can only play defense or can only play offense. They're guys who can shoot the ball everywhere and contribute.
YYC, I don't think Trae Young would be a great match with Luka. Although that would be great for trivia as far as the draft order that they came in, though, if Trae Young were to be picked up by the Lakers, because I do know that he has not been extended as of yet. But Rob, I wanted to go ahead and get in a question here before I've got one on Parade on Figueroa on Twitch. Big shout out to him and big shout out to everybody that's watching. Kurt, YYC, Adam, Tough, everybody that's been a part. Even Doug Davis. I know that Laker Tom is with you on the Yankees, but calling Ohtani a mid-pitcher, Doug, come on. All right.
Fire the coach.
Sounded a little jealous there. Sounded a little jealous. I'll just leave it at that. But Rob, let me get into one thing a concern that all of us have, and that's Dalton Connect. The fact that he is just, I don't know what to say at this point. It really hurts me when I say the things I say about him, but I tell people the truth. Defensively, he looks like one of the worst defenders in the NBA, bar none. And it hurts me a lot to say that after so much promise I saw the kid in his first game here in Las Vegas as a Laker in Summer League, to see where he went to multiple 30-point games. I know that Kurt said he is a rhythm player. Yes, he is a rhythm player, but he has to do something effectively right away when he gets in the game and make a positive impact, because as we saw last night, when there's just even a taste of him out there on the defensive end, these teams, they point him out and they single him out, and you saw what happened there, Al Rob.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. I look at I mean, he was much older when he came into the league. So, there's may not be a lot of growth there. And once the book got out on him last year, it seemed like, he struggled. I don't think he's not a high IQ player, so he doesn't know how to get in position to make up for his other deficiencies defensively. But he's not gonna, like JJ said, though, he needs to get minutes to really and get shots up. I mean, that's his strength. He's a scorer, and you can't score if you're only getting out there 3 and 5 minutes. So that's kind of a disservice to him. But it's a catch-22 with JJ, because when he puts him out there,
you gotta be trying to win.
When he's out there,
he struggles so much.
The
but there's a role for him somewhere. Maybe it's not on the Lakers, because they don't really need his skill quite as much as maybe some other teams do. But I can see him going somewhere else and being a valuable guy off the bench and flourishing. But
yeah, he needs to be
right now. He just needs to get his confidence back. He needs to get his confidence back. Gets his confidence back, get his swag back, man, and go out there and compete on the defensive end. And when you get it on offense, man, don't hesitate. Do what you do. Let it fly. Go out there. So, yeah, it's disappointing. Still was a good draft, and it's just up to him. It's like, hey, the ball's in his court. What kind of player he's going to be? He's got to change his mindset. He's got to come back in with the mindset he had last year. Right now, he's deferring too much. He's going out there feeling like he's defeated, instead of going out there trying to, hey, I'm about to show y'all I belong out here. So
that trade has done more to his psyche.
Yeah, which you can't blame Rob for that, though. I mean, hey, you try to make a trade, you think it's worked, and then you found out it wasn't. So if the guy's that fragile, then he never was going to be that good guy anyway. If he's that fragile that a trade don't go through, and then all of a sudden you're not going to be,
I think they got cold feet on the
NBA player.
I think it was. I don't think it was an injury issue. I think it was a change your mind issue. They got buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
But I'll just say this now, Rob.
Unfortunately, screwed their player as a result.
Well, but in essence, guys, when you talk about that basketball can be a mental game, I think you just need to go ahead and direct yourself to Dalton Connect and understand that there is a part of this game that is mental, and if you do not have that will, the confidence, the effort, the drive, yeah, and
you don't believe that shot's going in, that it isn't going in.
Yeah, it's
right.
just something
If you're
snapped.
thinking about your shot, you're going to miss.
Yeah, and something happened right there that just absolutely. I feel bad for the kid, because I really saw him. I told the story many times on that first day, how he acted, how he conducted himself, as opposed to what we saw with Bronny being ushered away with all the media, all the stuff done that day, and yet Dalton, carried himself as whatnot. But again, it's just all falling apart from there.
Yeah, he had 39 points one game. Didn't he have 39 points up in Utah? I mean,
he had two 30-point games before the trade. It was just it's sad. It's just very sad to see how much this has clearly affected him going forward.
And another university's rookie of the year.
Yeah, he had a terrible summer league. When in their second year, these players are supposed to progress. Even Bronny, as much as whatever you say about Bronny, well, he really had a bad summer league his first year, but this was, you know, it wasn't
He
the
improved.
greatest summer league, but he improved. I'll say that. But before we head on out, speaking of
recently
James,
regressed again.
well, that's notwithstanding. That's a sore subject on this channel. I'll just leave it at that if you've seen some of the videos, and I'll leave it at that. But I wanted to go ahead and touch on before we head on out, and before you guys go ahead and talk about what's going on with Lakerholics.com, I wanted to go ahead and ask your guys' deep thoughts on LeBron James himself. It's, you know, out was currently with sciatica, a lot of issues on that, but I know that Parade on Figueroa really had a question on his value, because he still sees value with LeBron James, despite whatever you said and about retaining him long term. So I'm asking this, Michael, and I'll start with you. Your thoughts on this based off of what Parade on Figueroa was saying about LeBron James. What do you look at as far as him going forward? And even if you sign him to another max contract, and if you want to go ahead and have Joe Soro die of a heart attack in the middle of the freeway, absolutely, just go ahead and announce that right now. But you know, as far as LeBron James continuing with him after, you know, next season and whatnot, do you do that? What do you do it at? Because he sees, Parade on Figueroa sees the value, because obviously off the court, because no question what he brings to you financially as an organization, but what does he still bring to you as an on-court product going forward?
Well, that's hard to that's a hard question to answer, because nobody's ever did this before. You know, there's no comparisons. You can't say, you know, I guess you can compare other sports like, you know, Tom Brady or something like that, but who knows what he can bring going forward. He has never fallen off much. You know, he has fallen off a little, especially a little bit on the defense. I mean, he still defends when he's, you know, motivated to defend, but he still does take time off. But man, to me, it really, I don't know if I would give him another max contract though. You know, I don't think I would. I would keep him around for, you know, 35, 40 million maybe, you know, because that salary cap is going to go up 10% every single year. So, but that's a tough question, because it really, really depends on who they can, you know, who else can they put around the team, who progresses over the course of the year. I think we'll have a better understanding of that as we see these guys play this year, and
who's
see
who's the power forward of the future of the Lakers will also determine that. If the Lakers have somebody in the power forward position, where's LeBron going to play?
That's true. Rob, where do you see as far as the future for LeBron James? Because that's obviously going to be a question. Last night, he was sporting his other son's jersey on the sidelines. Whether you want to make just as a proud dad, or was he making a statement for the future? When I brought that up to Joe last night, he bit my head off. I love teasing him. I love just needling him with
a little dig in it. You get little digs in Joe every chance you get. I see.
Oh,
yeah,
I do. Yeah, I
love. Bite your head off, but yeah, I mean,
he tells me off camera what he thinks of it.
Yeah, I think we read too much into everything LeBron does. I looked at that as he's just supporting his son.
Well, the
LeBron James
is kind of just like, yeah,
he's in the top 1 percentile of intelligent players on the court. So you have to know that when he's playing, your team is smarter and gives your team a better chance to win. You can't give LeBron James, though, at his age, max deal and expect to have a championship caliber team. It's just, we saw in the playoffs last year that he can't be that guy. And you can't have a guy making that much money if he can't be that guy when you need him to be that guy. Regular season, yes, he's exceptional, but I mean, it's all about the playoffs. We don't care what happens in the regular season, right? So he's still valuable. I don't know what dollar amount you put on him, and we don't know what he's going to look like this year. I mean, we don't. He should be able to give you 20 points and fill in some assists and rebounds and use his intelligence to help the team win a lot of games. But I'm just concerned when the playoff comes, can you help us win games? And I'm not confident that he can. Now, Luka's in much better shape. Luka's in a different mindset. He wasn't great in the playoffs last year either. I look at that as more of an aberration because I know what he can do in the playoffs. And if he's in better shape like he is this year, he should be phenomenal. So maybe then we don't have to depend on LeBron to do as much in the fourth if Luka is going to be Luka. So, but yeah, you can't pay him the type of money he wants. And LeBron's got to make a big decision, like what's important to him, and come to grips if he's going to be a guy instead of the guy. And that's the ball's in his court and realizing that. So
he also has to determine how much one more championship is worth to him. Because if he takes big time money from us or anybody else, that lowers the bar for or raises the bar for another championship. So what's it worth to him to, take a pay cut for one more ring?
Tom, did you want to throw your 2 cents in there on this?
There's a big difference, in my opinion, between the situation that the Lakers were in when Kobe was retiring and the situation the Lakers are in with LeBron retiring. I think that the Lakers would only consider bringing LeBron back, and it would be for a reduced amount if they win the championship. If they don't win the championship, they're moving on, and they're going to use the cap space that they got next summer, not for a superstar, but for a power forward, and they're going to go after Tara Easy because they want a guy. They want a guy to fill that position because that's a critical weakness on the team right now, and probably second only to not having a starting small forward. So they're going to use that free agency money, and they're going to use, I think, the pick in a trade this year to get better forwards, to strengthen the front court. And I don't think LeBron is going to come back to the Lakers. And I think that changes the whole decision for LeBron dramatically. You got to remember this, in 23 years, this is the first time he hasn't been able to show up at the start of the season. That's a pretty big omen right there. It says that it's awful hard to gamble next year. And I'll add in another factor, which is the ownership of the team is changing. And by the end of the month, Mark Walter will be in charge of the Lakers 100%.
Could be by the end of the month, that's according to Ramona Shelburne. So we'll see what happens.
So that's a situation where, yeah, the Lakers have gotten a lot of play by showing what they did for how loyal they were to Kobe and basically signing him to that contract, which gave up any chance of winning championships for a couple of years there. Mark Walter's not going to do that. This year is LeBron's last year as a Laker, and it's his last year in the NBA, in my opinion.
Tough says, do you guys think he'd sign for $40 million? Yeah, I think he would, Tough, but I don't think the Lakers should offer because, again, you have so much tied up into one person at that stage of the career when you could build a team. We're seeing it now where the options for JJ are just limited because of how much you've devoted in dollars to the bench, and that's the kind of return you're getting. So I would like to see a more well-rounded team personally in the seasons going forward that you could build around Luka, so we don't have these continual questions on how he can compete as far as on both sides of the ball after player number 4, 5. When you get into that, as far as the questions start really mounting for the Lakers going forward. But guys, it's been a great conversation. But before we head on out, I wanted to give you guys each a platform to go ahead and share your thoughts on the Lakers in the coming week. And I'm hoping you guys will be able to get together for Lakerholics here in the future, with or without Mr. Wannabe Rob Pelinka this holiday season in the Jamie Suite. But Rob, with my friend, let's let you go first. Your thoughts on the Lakers as we head into the second week of the season, my friend.
Well, first and foremost, I want to enjoy the Luka ride. I want to see, how much of this can he continue to on this 40-point streak. We saw Kobe have 10 games or something. Let's see if Luka can just keep the 40-point streak winning. scoring going, and the Lakers, what do we have? Sacramento, and I do know that's going to be a tough challenge up in Minnesota. They'll be waiting on us. But I mean, the schedule is not.
Don't count out the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
They slaughtered the Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, all these games are going to be. I don't think the Lakers going to have any layups. They don't have that type of team. So, but so I'm looking at one thing. I'm just looking at the Luka factor and just seeing how much the dominance and enjoying that part. That's probably what I'm looking forward to be honest, more than the actual team development. I just, I of course want to see how he work out Aiden and how Jake develops and Marcus keeps going and if Rui keeps playing good. But first and foremost, Luka,
indeed. Absolutely. Well said, my friend. Michael, your thoughts on the Lakers as we head on out, my friend?
Well, it's going to be, it's going to be bumpy probably for at least another week or two, just because it's the first part of the season. They're getting used to each other. I'm really interested in seeing Ayton going forward because the first game he really looked bad. Last game he looked decent. He looked pretty good. I want to see him continue to, it does. Chemistry doesn't happen overnight, so I'm hoping to see each game, him becoming a little more comfortable, connecting with Luka a little bit more, because this guy has been a big, role guy his career. The guy's averaged 16 points a game. He's averaged 10 boards a game. That's where, that's who he's been. So I just want to see if he can continually, gradually, picks up his game. And I also want to see if the secondary scorers like Austin and Rui can continue to support Luka in the scoring, because Luka can't score 80 a game. He probably could, but we want to see that. I would also like to see Jake a little bit more involved. He seems to be. He's got that I'm new here, deer in the headlights sometime look, and he doesn't really push it. And I think he's a more talented player than that. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at.
Last but certainly not least, it is, of course, the man who is one of the most prolific writers on the Lakers out there at Lakerholics.com. It is Laker Tom. Laker Tom, any last thoughts before we head on out, and what you're working on at Lakerholics.com besides driving Jamie crazy?
The thing that I'm interested in is watching the Lakers over the next 8 to 10 games, let's say, and seeing whether or not they can win without LeBron James.
And we'll see what happens. But I know you got some articles that you got coming up as well at Lakerholics.com.
Yep. I've actually been writing an article a day now for the last week, but a shorter article. And so it'll be interesting to see how people respond to that.
There you go. 10,000 words or less. There you go. I still think you should write a book, but be as it may. Speaking of books, again, I have an interview with author Yaron Weissman of A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. If you want to know what's going on behind the scenes of El Segundo for the past 10 years, it just came out this week. I have an interview with the author right now on the channel. I hope you guys check it out and get his book. It's really a page turner, and I'll just leave it at that. But last,
have you read it all, Gerald?
I've read about 2/3 of it. It is really good. There's some really funny stories, things I didn't know, things nobody knew. In fact, the Lakers didn't want this book published. They actually were trying to think about sending a cease and desist to him, as he explains in the interview. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the scenes. But yes, there's some really good stories and interesting tidbits about the whole Jeannie, Rob, the Ramby, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes as far as the stories. The only thing he didn't cover was the Damon Jones stuff that that came to light. But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that are very interesting about the pursuit of LeBron, and then once LeBron got on team, the COVID championship, and then of course the drama with Westbrook and thereafter. Just a lot of good stuff behind the scenes. So hopefully you get a chance to check it out. So yeah, he really did a great job on it. So yeah, about 2/3 of the way through, L. Rob, and it is really a page turner. So highly recommended by me. I'll leave it at that. But before we go, wanted to go ahead. I mentioned to you guys at the beginning. I know L. Rob hopped on, and I think Michael hopped on when I was saying, but L. Rob hopped on late. I have pitched our show, all of our shows, to radio stations across the West Coast, and in doing so, I had to make a bio of each and every one of you guys. Just put out there what we have, bio of each and every individual that stops on by as far as on the panel. And for your guys, I put on top of that our weekend host, the Lakerholics from Lakerholics.com. Follow the Lakers as closely as anyone out there. So I did a little bio of you guys. So I wanted to hear this out. They include Laker Tom Wong, one of the most prolific writers covering the Lakers on the internet. His following on social media, Lakers fandom, and very divisive trade proposals have become the stuff of legend. Right there. Jamie Sweet, the main antagonist for Laker Tom and a longtime writer of the 5 Things articles on Lakerholics.com. Jamie provides a unique insight into his Laker commentary. It also quite often gets put front and center in his and Tom's now famous on-air verbal debates. Michael Heinrich, editor for the Lakerholics.com, who draws from decades of NBA viewing experience with his commentary, but also does his best to provide sensibility as he often has to mediate between the verbal jousts of Laker Tom and Jamie. And last but certainly not least, L. Rob provides a wealth of experience in his summations of the Lakers and the NBA, which quite often gets very positive feedback from the audience and his fellow panelists. So there you go, guys. Again, tried to not deviate too far from the format.
Well done.
Well done by the Podfather, who is definitely one of the most innovative people in the business.
Yeah, so I wanted to let you know that's been sent out to radio stations. I'm still waiting to hear back. I follow up with them, and I'll try to nag them.
That probably killed any chance you had, Joe.
Yeah, that probably. Well, actually, you should see what I put about the panelists right above as far as the day-to-day when it came to me, Joe, and the rest of the crew. Yeah, that was. I'm sure that'll get us going. But it is, of course, the Lakerholics, Lakerholics.com. I highly encourage you guys to stop on by Lakerholics.com. It's great banter. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great items and also great things that you guys need to go ahead and see about the Lakers' opinions, but also deep insight on the Lakers that I really think you guys will like. So please stop by Lakerholics.com. Guys, it's been great conversation. I cannot thank you enough for being a part of it. L. Rob, coming back. It's great to have you back on the show. Laker Tom, I'm so glad you didn't give anyone the finger this time around like last time. Well, then Jamie's not here. That's probably why. Michael, I know that you were here.
I got a message for Jamie under the table.
Okay, all right. I bet you do. But he did it on camera before. Actually, Joe did it last night to a viewer, and I said, "Oh, that's the second time that's happened this month." All right. But way to win over audience right there. But Michael, also as well, great to have you here. Absolutely fantastic. I know that your schedule was tight earlier today, so truly appreciate you joining us. And again, hoping you guys will stop by next week, and hope you guys will join us tomorrow as far as you're watching out there for Sunday night's game against the Sacramento Kings. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then, of course, the world famous post game and the Lakerholics show next week right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Aloha!
Aloha!